Are you getting sick of playing games that don't actually let you play? You know, the ones I mean, they funnel you down a narrow path, don't give you much freedom in what you can do, and rely on cinematic set pieces to drive the spectacle. I am, and that's why Dishonored is such a refreshing experience. It picks up where games like DSX and Bioshock left off, and puts choice back in the player's hand. As Corvo Adorno, protector to an empress, players find themselves in Dunwall, a grimy port city which population is being decimated by a rat-born plague. It's an industrial setting, a fishing town grown rich of the back of the whale oil that powers the city circuits. It's also a hive of corruption, political machinations, and power gambling. And this all comes to the fore when the Empress is assassinated and Corvo sets out to avenge her death. That vengeance can take a, that vengeance can take many forms. Unlike so many video game protagonists, Corvo is not preordained to be a mass murderer. The entire game can be completed without killing a single person, so guards can be avoided or knocked unconscious, and non-lethal options can be found for assassination targets. Of course, if you want to cut a bloody swath across Dunwall, that's catered for too. Just be warned, killing your way to the end of the game has a number of ramifications. More dead bodies means more rats and more guards and a darker overall conclusion. If you're anything like me though, you'll probably take an approach that's somewhere in the middle, at least for your first play though. Whatever you do, the mechanics are highly versatile and each setting has been designed to give players multiple options for achieving one goal. By by way of example, in one mission, Corvo has two targets to take out inside a brothel, but there is of course an alternative to killing them. If you can find another guest in the complex and get him to give up the code for his safe, you can then give this code you can then give this code to a character in the distillery district, and he'll make both your targets disappear. In my first playthrough, I got the code, but went and eliminated both the guards anyway, then took the contents of the safe myself. The mechanics are highly versatile, and each setting has been designed to give players multiple options for achieving any one goal. These kinds of options make missions much more engaging than if players were simply tasked with the usual go here, kill this objectives. That's that. That said, it's actually the moment to moment gameplay choices that make Dishonored so compelling. What happens, for instance, is you need to get past a wall of light. These electrified getaways are set up throughout the city and will fry anything that's not authorized to pass through them. You might be able to circumvent it by climbing up onto the rooftops and traversing around, or use the possession power to scurry through a drainage pipe as a rat and get through the other side. On the other hand, you can deal with the gate itself by removing the whale oil tank that's powering it, or hack into the system and reverse it. The last option is perhaps the most entertaining, as it means you're now able to step through by any guards who give chase will instantly incinerated. The approach you take will at least partly be determined by how you've customized Corvo, and these options are incredibly robust. Each of the game's 10 powers can be unlocked in any order, and each can be upgraded. Ruins hidden throughout the world are the currency for unlocking and upgrading powers, and that hunt is brilliant fun in and of itself. For my first playthrough, I focused on using and leveling up 3 core powers: Blink, Dark Vision, and Agility. Blink is a short-range teleport that is useful for moving from corner to corner, getting the jump on enemies and scaling buildings. Dark Vision Dark vision lets players see enemies' movements. Dark vision lets players see enemy movements through walls and also highlights other important objects in the world. Agility, on the other hand, is a passive power which increases jump heights and movement speed and reduces fall damage. As you can see, I opted for agility and stealth above all else. To further enhance my cat burglar like skills, I also spent cash upgrading my boots for quieter movements and activated perks, where the game's hidden bone charms, to drastically reduce the time it takes to choke an enemy, as well as to increase my movement speed in stealth mode and while carrying corpses. It's a shame that Dishonored story isn't greatly than the sum of its decidedly memorable parts, but its gameplay absolutely is. Each mission is built as an elaborate network of choices for players to explore, and the same can be said for Corvo himself. Each player's selection of powers, perks, and other upgrades will inform how they see and interact in this world. And no two play and no two playthroughs and no two playthroughs no and no play and no two playthroughs which will be exactly the same, and no two playthroughs will be exactly the same. Dishonored is a game you'll think with your friends about and that you want to play multiple times. In this game there are always